time keeps on slipping, 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 slipping into the future. I have a phone call to make.
You have reached the Magician's Assistant. If this is the Enlightened one, today's episode is...
Time keeps on slipping into the future.
What the hell was that?
Have you been hacking my phone again?
I don't know. Stuff just happens sometimes. You know how it is? When I disappear, I'm not even supposed to be here right now. Where the hell's Canada Dry?
I don't know. I mean, you seem to be everywhere. I mean, you were on the Sunday show.
Okay, so I gotta try and do his intro. I've never done it before. Let's see if I can do it.
Okay, do you know what? Take it away.
Okay. It is me. I'm that guy. I'm a saint or something. I'm bubbly, and I like to go in bubble baths. Damn it. Is that how it goes?
Yeah, something like that. That'll do
Oh,
it. And
yeah, I'm bubbly and smooth like a Canada Dry drinky poo.
And I am, of course, the magician Liam Wakelin, and this is the only paranormal show made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans.
What do we got on the show today?
Well, so we've got three things in the vault this week, so that's going to be exciting. We've got the Galaxy News, as we always do. I don't know if Canada Dry's got his license back yet. And for our main event, time keeps on slipping.
Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. I love that song.
Awesome. So do you know what? While we're here, let's have a chat, shall we? So, how you been? You all right?
I'm good, you know. I've got a cold that I've had it for 3 years. Just won't go away. You know, I got that voice, right?
You've had a cold for 3 years. I'm no expert, but I feel like there's something wrong there.
Well, I mean, I eat a lot of those lemon drops, and they help a little bit, you know.
Something like that. That'll do.
Have you had lemon drops?
I have. It's very
Those
nice.
things, I must eat 600 of those a day.
600? Did you say 600?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
My lemon bill is through the lemon drop thing is through the roof.
It is. I can imagine. So, you know what? As you do, the enlightened one. What should we do first? What part of the show should we do first?
Let's get on into that vault.
It looks like it's time to open up the vault.
Do you know the combination? Hey, there you are.
Yeah, the light one, he just keeps taking over. Did you see how he butchered my intro?
He did. He also butchered my phone call. He seems to be hacking things now. I'm getting very unhappy.
Yes. He's leaving messages for himself on your phone.
God damn it. What's your life?
He's a character.
He is. What's going on, noob? Thanks for stopping by, as always.
Yes, I'm excited about this episode.
Time keeps on slipping. I mean, it's some great stories for the main event, but you know what? We're here for the vault first, so
that's true. I missed so yeah. Let's find out what's in the vault. Let's reach in here. Oh, that's gooey. Look at that. Oh, that's nice feel. Okay, we're not. But anyways, best.
Tower American 1997. We just passed a guy in a jetpack.
American 1997. Okay, thank you. Were they off to your left side or right side?
Off the left side, maybe 300 yards or so, about our altitude.
You saw the guy pass by us jetpack.
Okay, so obviously for people like listening or obviously on the show, it's what the hell?
It seemed like it was pilots reporting
Mm-hmm.
seeing a guy in a jetpack while they're flying.
I thought this is the vault, not bloody magician's corner.
Yeah, like what the hell? There's a guy in a jetpack causing trouble for airline pilots.
Do you know when obviously it said there's a jetpack thing? Did you think it was a hoax? Because I did.
Well, there was two different guys reporting it. Sorry, you might not have picked that up, but yeah, it was three different pilots.
Yeah, it's when obviously it's announced that like pilots have seen like a guy with a jetpack. I'm like, this is a hoax. But when you actually see the video, it's like, oh wait, that guy's actually on a jetpack. What the hell?
So yeah, I didn't know like this guy's putting his life in his hands. This is legit.
Do we know any background to this video?
This is New York and LA airports have three different pilots reporting this from those two airports.
So yeah, yeah, that is really so. Obviously, if you're watching it on the YouTube channel, you can actually see the video. But obviously, if you're on Spotify, we have to describe it, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, so it looks like a guy flying by in a jetpack.
There's no two ways about it. That's exactly what it is.
There's theories that it could be a mannequin on top of a drone.
That is a possibility. Do you know? Imagine how weird that would be, though.
You could do a styrofoam figure because that'd be really light on top of a drone with like a styrofoam jetpack. But you know, can drones fly that high?
I don't actually know the all rigmarole with drones. I know they can fly high, but I don't know how high they can actually fly. So it's one of those theories where there's still ins and outs you don't actually know about it.
So a guy could have made his own jetpack is another theory.
Yeah, I mean, but I kind of think that I don't think it's the drone one. I think that's a little bit hoax. What about you?
I think it's a really smart guy that has been working on this for years and decided to just do it. Like he doesn't care. But obviously, if you're gonna fly your jetpack, you're taking your life in your own hands. So you're not gonna care if like people are like reporting you.
Oh no, it did hell, but it's causing a lot of obviously stir up obviously on the airport. So, but people obviously watch you, obviously make your own theory on that. But I don't think it's the drone one. I think it's just somebody messed it up.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's see what else we got in the vault.
Okay,
here we go. I found one right here.
Boop. What the hell is this?
All right, so this is two security guards that were told to go down because there was a woman standing there, and when they go there, they can't even see her. That's why they're pointing flashlights. If you'll see the flashlights go on her, and they go right through her.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point here, you'll see the guy walks right through her. He's putting his arm like going right through her.
So there's something there, but there's just nothing.
They don't see it.
This is
they're
like
in communication with someone in the camera, and they're saying, do this, and that would be creepy watching that.
This is. Do you remember the story we covered about the London Underground? This has got the same, feel for it, but this is like the real life video of it. Do you actually remember when it's like it went down to obviously investigate?
Yeah, that's creepy. I wouldn't be hanging out there for too long. Like, just oh man.
Because that's obviously. I remember the story very, very well, and it's exactly the same thing where he's got the flashlight obviously on the person. There's just on the camera they can see that person, but on general thing there's just nothing there. It's weird as hell.
That just gives me the shivers. I'm sorry.
Let's go to Naaman Burns, and as always, the security guys is here.
That's not Naaman Burns. That's Gran Torino.
Oh, is it?
That's Gran Torino. I will
Okay.
not acknowledge Nama Burns. I will acknowledge Gran Torino.
But yeah, I mean, that actually kind of puts in perspective the story we've covered, because I think we've done it a few times before with that actual thing.
And we're going to find more like this. They're going to keep popping up because a lot of these ghosts want to be famous.
Oh, yeah, of course they do.
Like, if you're a ghost, do you want to have your own YouTube little feature?
What are you going to call it? Let's be honest.
Ghosting around? I don't know.
Ghosted?
Ghosting around with Bob the Ghost.
I've even named it now. Bob
the Ghost.
Okay. Have we got anything else in the vault?
Yes, we have Okay, so Iron Sheik passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk a little bit about that later in Around the Effing Galaxy. But this was one of his funniest tweets he ever put out.
That one?
Not that one.
That one?
Yes, this one.
I'm sorry, the Iron Sheik put so many tweets out.
Yes.
I was kind of confused which one it was.
Read that out for me.
Does that say Kalu? I've said
Caillou.
that right? Caillou, you are the punk, no good son of a bitch. You are lucky. I don't find you. Put you in a camel crutch. Break your effing neck. You are a jabroni of the earth. I never respect you. Low life, skinny garbage. Go F yourself, Kalu. Whew, wow.
So Caillou is this whiny cartoon character for kids.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just he's very, very whiny. And that is the best tweet by the Iron Sheik.
Yeah, the one thing I'll always remember about the Iron Sheik is his actual tweets, because there's so many, and that is probably a good one. But I could probably name quite a few off. I think we've got another one for obviously the Galaxy News as well. But it's, I mean, an absolute legend. I mean, what can we say?
Yeah, and that just a nice springboard. They've given me a temporary pass back to get in my airplane. They say I can't do loops, and I can't lend it out to the Enlightened One.
Okay, so strap on, because we're going where, Canada?
We're going all the way around the effing galaxy. And we're
Oh, I don't know, Noob. I think of this comment here. Noob says, no one cares about a character in cartoons. I don't know. I mean, cartoons are always like part of everybody, no matter who you are.
Cartoons. We need cartoons. What would we be without cartoons?
Exactly. I mean,
and especially with the Iron Sheik, this badass man is talking about beating the crap out of one. It's funny.
So yeah, I think we'll obviously start with the Iron Sheik, because obviously it's really sad that day. Now I actually found an image, and I thought it was probably one of my favorite images, which is this one.
This one's interesting because Bret Hart is as dark as the Sheik in this one.
Kind of blends in. It's brilliant.
He's like we're brothers.
What's some of your favorite memories when it comes to the Sheik?
Well, Iron Sheik was probably one of the very, very first wrestlers that I ever seen.
Oh, okay.
Because I got a VHS cassette when I was a kid called Hulkamania.
Sure.
And it's Hulk Hogan's very first matches as the champion. And the very first match on that cassette was Iron Sheik versus Hulk Hogan. And
wow.
He won the belt, and what can you say? Iron Sheik was awesome.
He was. He absolutely was a legend. I mean, even though it was a bit before my time, I still obviously watched some of his highlights, but I'll always remember him fondly, obviously, for Twitter. I mean, everybody said that if you wanted to be entertained, just head to his Twitter.
There's a cool couple things you can watch. You can watch Sheik on Tubi TV. There's a whole documentary on the Sheik. You can watch there for free. And you can go also on A&E. They recently just did it 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
The last, this is a biography on the Iron Sheik. that is like pretty much his last time on TV.
Wow, I might have to go check that out.
So I definitely want to watch that.
Of course. And I'll finish off by saying, do you know what I mean? As we always say on the show when somebody passes away, may our thoughts and our prayers be with everyone in his family. And
and of course, we're going to give the 10 bell salute on Sunday. But just like we did last night, we got to pay tribute on the show as well.
Of course. It's absolutely a big loss. So next story we've got is, and apparently Seth Rollins is heading to NXT for a feud with Braun Breaker. I've got to be honest, when I read this, I'm like, really? Are you serious? Are you taking the mic? But what do you think?
Well, you know what? WWE is pulling out all the stops.
Mm-hmm.
You got a champion who says Seth Rollins said this, I'm going to be a fighting champion.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's good for ratings for NXT.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to watch that match, you're going to be like, oh, maybe I'll stay for this next week, even though Seth Rollins isn't going to be here.
Yeah, I mean, when you put it that way, that is obviously a great business move. But the one question I've got for this is, do you think Seth Rollins will be a better champion than Roman Reigns, truthfully?
Okay, as a person, I do not like Seth Rollins.
I think you said that very, very publicly, but go ahead.
Yes. But as a wrestler and like someone who's on TV weekly, he's going to defend the belt. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot to say about that. When you're defending a belt that you know you're going to win every match, is it such a big deal?
Yeah, I think you're on a point there. What's going on, Mr. Smith? Thank you for stopping by.
But it is still, you're working more than like when Cody was the TNT champion, he was defending every week. Mm-hmm. It's still that you're showing up every week and putting that title on the line, even though it's as a shoot, you're not losing that belt.
Yeah, I don't know. The funny thing is, it's when we discussed this like a few months back, obviously on the Magic Show, and it's like, when it's your world champion, do you think obviously they need to obviously defend it weekly, or is it more like few and far between?
Well, here's the thing: is that if you can make new stars, if Braun Breaker gets elevated out of this, it's good. Like, that's my whole theory: is you got to elevate people. If people are just going to job to you and look bad, then it's not good. But if it's going to elevate people, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. I mean,
but I get your point.
Noob says this is going to feud leading up to the match at the Money in the Bank. Yeah, I mean,
I don't think it's a feud.
You don't?
I think it's a one-off.
Possibly.
He's just going to go there, give him a open challenge. But I see your point. Because should the World Championship be an open challenge thing? That's a mid-card thing.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's one of those where it's like, I don't know. It's one of those where it causes so much to divide on it. You could debate this for basically the rest of the show, but unfortunately,
but I'll tell you this: Bret Hart was like that with the world title as well, and no one's talking crap about Bret.
No, but is that more because obviously the wrestling evolved so much over the years?
Well, I think I don't know if it's evolved. The more that it evolves, the more it stays the same, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I agree there totally. So, I mean, it depends who you ask. If you're asking me, I feel like they should defend it, not regular, but more often than what they are. But
not every week, though. Not every week.
No, not every week. Probably every 3 weeks. That's probably my guess. 2
to 3 weeks. We got a deal.
I'd say that, yeah.
All right, we'll sign that. All right, there we go.
Okay, so boom. Now, next
Bob's
story.
your uncle.
I actually have got an Uncle Bob.
Really? I nailed it.
There you go. So, next story we've got is, and this week on AEW Dynamite, there was, of course, a nice little promo between Adam Cole and MJF. Shots were fired again with WWE. Are we still sick of this firing shots at WWE, or was this absolute
Well, it
gold?
wasn't really shots at WWE, as shots as Adam Cole.
Mm-hmm.
They invoked the name of Vince McMahon. They invoked it.
Yeah, I mean, I've not actually seen it yet. Obviously, I've seen the comments on it, but what do you think to the whole overall promo? Obviously, you've seen the show.
Okay, so this gave Adam Cole an opportunity to address all the things that have been said about him on the internet through MJF.
Yeah.
So they said, you're gotten all skinny. You don't have what you used to have, like your charisma-wise. Brits carrying your balls in the purse. Just like all these things. And Vince McMahon didn't see you as main event material. You were going to be the manager for Keith Lee.
Oh, ouch.
All that was said, yeah. So that gave Adam Cole an opportunity to respond to each and every one, and he nailed every one of them out of the park.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really comment much on this because I've not actually seen it because we don't get to see the show till tomorrow night, but obviously...
So are you going to be able to watch it? Because you're going to see 1PW.
Well, I'm not seeing the show till Saturday, so I probably will watch it tomorrow night. But I'm at the hotel.
Oh, you'll be watching it with some room service.
There you go.
You know, I said in chat, you're going to see your love.
Yeah, I saw that.
I didn't tell him it was 1PW.
I saw that before I came on the air, and I'm like, yeah.
You are in love with 1PW, though.
Name of Burns. Oh, sorry, as you say.
Gran Torino.
It says MJS goes through great effort to put over wrestlers' business as a whole. Behind this sharp comments with the history lesson of what both wrestlers have been through. I kind of like that. I mean, that comment there is absolutely top notch. But moving back to that comment a second, what did you just say? 1PW is my love.
Yes, you love 1PW. You'd marry it if you could.
I think that would be a bit rich or too far. Wouldn't it?
Will you marry this wrestling promotion? Yes, I do.
Look, it's done. Yeah, okay, I'm a big 1PW fan for obvious reasons, but obviously we get some great interviews, and even like the review shows we do it's still, do you know what I mean, draws people in. So I can't complain.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love the left side of the pond, as we call it on Thursdays.
Dear. So we'll move on back to WWE, and we were trying to work out which brother's going to turn on who. You can now confirm which one we meant.
Yeah. So Jey Uso is going to be left with an ultimatum.
Okay.
You either choose the tribal chief or you choose your twin brother who you shared the womb with.
Oh. Are we still with the bloodline storyline? Because I'm still getting a bit.
They're dragging this thing out. Obviously, he's going to choose his brother, unless they switch it, because there's a match booked for the Usos versus Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa at Money in the Bank. Unless that's false news, that seems to be advertised.
Possibly. Gran Torino says it's just the opposite of the storyline where Jey wanted the belt. Possibly. I mean, yeah, I really agree there totally. I feel like they are dragging the storyline out, and he just like, God, just get on with it already. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, like, because Cody didn't win, that now they're like, now what do we do?
Yeah, I agree there totally. It's like, do you think WWE's trying to do the long-term storyline thing? And I feel like at the moment that's not something they're good at. Let's be honest.
No, I don't think that, because they're used to like giving fans the instant gratification. Because they don't think the fans have the patience for that. But
Possibly.
they're going to give Cody's going to be at WrestleMania and win the belt.
And I don't think he will. I really cannot see him winning that belt.
I think he's going to win at WrestleMania.
But
That's
you
good
built-
long-term storytelling.
But here's the thing, though, right? Do you know what I mean? You built it for 1 year, built it for 2 years. It just does not make sense to me personally. Do you know? I've said this obviously many times, but to me, they had that moment there. But because a lot of people backstage wanted Roman Reigns to still win, that was the reason he still won. But I don't know, man. I mean,
Well, okay, we're going to do it here live. I bet you.
mm-hmm.
How much? Oh, I will bet you one of our T-shirts
I'll bet you 2 T-shirts
from our store.
Okay, yeah.
2 T-shirts. Okay, so if Cody doesn't win, I'm really going.
Let's do
He
this.
doesn't even make WrestleMania. Okay, but I'm going to say this. Cody is going to be champion after next WrestleMania. So 2 shirts on the line.
Mm-hmm.
After that, you'll have to buy me 2 shirts. If not, I have to buy you 2 shirts.
Perfect deal.
All right. So this is a long time storytelling for Wrestling with the Paranormal.
I am that confident he's not going to win the belt.
Head shave that.
No.
No, we're going to do shirts, right?
Shirts it is. Any 2 shirts? Any 2 designs?
Yeah, from our store.
That's perfect for me. I'm more than happy to do that. So, yeah, let's do this.
Right.
Let's bet on.
All right. What else we got?
So we're going to end on now. Probably we bigged her up last week, obviously, and we said she stole the show at the Crocket Cup. So let's have any.
I said we said she's going to.
Yes, we did. So kind of dry.
Did she do it? Did she do it? Watch this.
Let's find it.
Again, showing off that flexibility.
Girl, she's seen the same thing that we.
Markova, face first into
More
the
like your
steel
soul.
pole. Break the count earlier on.
Face first into the steps.
If you're thrown out of the ring.
That's 100% correct that she goes face first off of that.
Right now she's coming out.
They back her head when it didn't. No, she signed up. She signed up.
Nobody home. Markova.
First into the steel.
Markova.
Oh, wow. Almost lethal kicks from Markova. Coming off the rope. Big neck breaker. Fences. Think of Max the Impaler, Taya Valkyrie, Rachel Ellering. Oh, coming down in that split. Long list of notable title defenses.
Mill has done everything she can to raise the level of the
Tonight, right here, right now, with Markova.
She hits it.
It could end now.
Oh, she tries
she
to cover,
can't.
but she's just
been beat
out of
down.
gas.
the damage of effect. But the longer you're in there, the worse it hurts.
Stiff kicks to the chest of Camille by Markova. Goes for it
okay.
again, but she did.
God, she
Oh,
got her.
that one connected.
Right on the cheekbone.
Markova
Coming in.
hits-
Another one. What a pump kick she's got coming in. Jazz Stinger. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Oh. Camille comes in.
Nice. Cover by the champ. Cover.
Putting her shoulders into the back.
Torture is
Spins
exactly what it is.
Thunder. Oh, barrel German
She's gonna try to
suplex
hit it again.
Going on up, but no. Markova. Oh, counters with a bulldog. Coming in. Oh, knee. Markova got the knee up.
Oh my gosh.
Isolated double arm. DDT. Double arm DDT.
Markova with the cover. Oh my God.
Wow. Can I say absolute wow? I mean, that's probably one of the biggest, moments I've actually seen there from Markova. And obviously we've seen quite a lot, but what's that like for you? Because obviously I know you're obviously big.
To me, Markova could have a match with absolutely, and I'm talking about males too.
Mm-hmm.
She could have a match with anyone in the world.
Yep. And
make it look good. Obviously, if they're going to botch, it's going to hurt the match, but she can make anyone look good. Two things I really liked in there was her selling at the beginning, just like getting the shit beat out of her. And then when she was able to do a comeback move, then she couldn't pin because she was too exhausted. I love that little part.
Yeah, and the good thing is as well, one thing I noticed there is you could tell how much Camille was exhausted as well. So that's credit, obviously, to Markova to making her work for the obviously title.
And one of the things Natalia was really proud of, talking to her afterwards, is both of them did a great job on that German suplex off the top ropes.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that because Noob says, nope, not that one. Sorry. There we go. The German suplex spot was scary as hell. It kind of is.
Yeah, you kind of have to get that fear. I worry too. Is she going to get hurt? Because you don't trust Camille.
It's not the fact I don't think we trust Camille. I feel like she's still got a lot to prove, a lot to learn. Was that a fair comment?
Yeah, as JP says, she's green as goose shit.
Green as goose shit. But of course, I mean, sadly, Markova didn't win, but she's put on a great, great show. And I do believe, in time she will be a champion in a big promotion.
Well, here's the thing. She didn't really lose. All the wrestling promoters saw her steal. Like, this was the best match on both nights.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because of Natalia Markova. All credit, like, Camille's good, but Natalia made Camille look good.
Yeah, and I think you make a valid point there. We spoke about this again before on a previous show, is it doesn't matter if a wrestler loses, because sometimes as long as you steal the show, and I feel like this is a prime example.
Yeah, do you remember Wembley Stadium? Bret Hart?
Yeah.
British Bulldog? Davey Boy won. But who went over, really? It was Bret.
Mm-hmm. No,
because,
I agree.
Because he just looked so good in what he was doing in that match.
Yeah, I mean, but that's obviously from the Crocket Cup last week, I remember, right?
Yeah, last Saturday and Sunday, I want to say.
So is that on night one or night two? Because I know there was
That's
two
night
nights.
two. That's night two.
Right, okay. So anybody listening, go back and watch that match because it is a bona fide classic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, that wraps up the Galaxy News. So what I might do is I might put a good word in, see if you can keep your pilot's license, because you're flying really, really good today.
I killed it. No loops, no passing out my license to other people with masks. I did good.
No, yeah, you've done really, really good. Should be proud of yourself today.
I am. But this episode is brought to you by W Energy Drink. And if you're feeling tired, you're a little bit kind of zonked from maybe work, and you need to get on your podcast, and you need to play some video games, whatever it is. There's no maltodextrins, there's no artificial sugars. I mean, then there's no sugars. There's no dyes or things like that, and it's just pure energy in its rawest form, in goodness.
I'm actually on the verge of obviously ordering some of this. We've got to see, what the product is like, what we're actually sponsoring. So have you actually got some yet?
No, I was on the verge of ordering one called Sludge. One of their things is called Sludge, and I like
that. Doesn't even sound nice.
No, it doesn't sound nice, but I think it's their version of Monster.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. And this is obviously international as well, if I remember rightly.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And use code FNWrestling to help the show, and some of those proceeds will go back to us, and you'll get 10% off your entire order.
Of course.
W.GG.
And use the promo code FNWrestling for 10% off. I promise you, by the time the year's done, I will be getting some dummy.
Yeah, I was about to order some, and then I got the trigger finger. Got like, I don't know, I'm so cheap. And then so they emailed me back. It's like, if you order now, we'll give you a free hat. And I'm like, tempting, but I like my hat.
What if they come back saying you'll give you 2 hats, and then you're gonna order it?
Maybe a hat and a shirt.
Oh dear. Right then, it's time for, and there's a name for it, and I can't quite put my finger on it. It's, what was it called now? What's the main event called?
Story time.
Do you often think that laugh actually like freaks you out?
Not really, because I made it, so I know where it came from. I can't really get freaked out of stuff I made.
Right, so it's time for our main event, and we've covered a lot of things. Obviously, on the show, we've covered ghosts, we've covered ghouls, we've covered witches, we've covered everything. But one thing we haven't covered for a while is when time keeps on slipping. So, kind of dry. Do you want to tell a little bit people what this is about?
All right. So this is an interesting phenomenon. We're going to tell 4 of these cases just to get you guys familiar with what it's about. And so all over the world, there's things happening where people will maybe exit a Starbucks, and all of a sudden they're in a different time period. And they're looking around and they're seeing cars from maybe the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And people walking around with their Walkmans, all that sort of stuff. And all of a sudden, something happens and they're back in their time period again. And it's this weird thing.
Now, obviously, I've known about it's time obviously slipping, but I don't know much about it until obviously we covered today's show. But what's your thoughts when it comes to stuff like this? It's very weird. It's very hard to understand.
Yeah, just like everything we do on the show, it's like I didn't know before I heard about this. I never heard, like, we did this show a long time ago. Before we had the show, I never heard of this.
No, I haven't either. So,
but there's a lot of cases that talk about time slips.
Very weird. So, like kind of I mentioned there, we've got 2 cases each, and yeah, I mean, we're going to discuss each one.
Yeah, we're going to talk about theories and everything, like what is actually happening. We're going to discuss each one as we go. I'm going to start, and then Liam will tell one of his cases as well.
Okay.
Case 1 is Sir Victor Goddard. Now, Goddard was a senior commander in the British Royal Air Force. And in 1935, during a flight to Andover, England, in Edinburgh, Scotland, he passed over what was a dilapidated airfield. Now, this airfield had been out of commission for for over 20 years.
Okay.
And nature had begun to kind of take over again. And there was a bunch of cows in the field as he's flying by. And he just kind of noticed this thing. And he didn't really think much of it. And he headed back. He headed over to Durham. And he didn't really think much of it. But on his way home, he hit this strange storm. Now, he decided that he needed to climb up and get through the clouds.
Just trying to avoid the weather thing.
Yeah, so he's just like, I'll just climb above it. But it seemed endless and yellow and disorientating was what he said. And so he managed to, as he's climbing, it just seemed to go on and on and on. But all of a sudden, it just dissipated like that. And as he's going, he sees the airfield again.
Right.
But it is now active and bustling with there's planes there. There's people working on planes. There's men in blue coveralls. And one thing he noticed was okay, even if this is legit, our military mechanics were brown coveralls.
Okay.
And the planes were yellow, and we didn't have yellow planes. He was very confused. And he also saw a plane that didn't exist. And he's high up in the military, so he should know. He saw this plane that didn't exist. And He didn't have much time because he's flying over. You can get an exact description of every little thing.
Mhm.
All of a sudden, he gets caught in the storm again. And again, he fights through it, and same thing. It just dissipates.
Yeah.
Now he gets back to Durham, and he's telling his buddies about it. And they're like, dude, that military strip hasn't been active in 20 years. Like, what you're saying doesn't make sense. He said, no, I seen it. Okay, so 4 years later, they decide to activate this military base again.
Yep.
They repave the airstrip. They move the cows out. They decide to change the colors of the mechanics from brown to blue. And they decide that since this is a training facility, they're going to put the planes and make them all yellow. And they introduce a brand new plane to that training facility.
What the hell?
So Goddard becomes fascinated with the paranormal because he believes he traveled in time into the future and saw this airbase before it even existed.
Okay, I wasn't expecting that ending. I'll be honest. Do you know the one thing I thought then? Obviously, when he was going through the storm and stuff, it's like going through a portal type thing.
Yeah, was he going through some sort of time portal?
That's the first thing I thought of. Do you know when obviously you were talking about the weather?
And then he left. So if he would have landed, he would have been able to be in the future, possibly.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, any thoughts? Any theories?
I think that portal thing is a great possibility. We'll talk about more other theories a little bit later at the end for all these things. But yeah, this thing, he even wrote a book about it.
And I've complete. What was the name of the book again?
Let me see if I wrote this down. I didn't write it down. Anyways. Oh, no, it's called A Flight to Remember. That's what it is.
So you didn't need to write it down. You remembered.
I did remember. A Flight to Remember, and I remembered.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So, yeah, obviously I'll take over now from one of my stories, and it's
Case
called
number 2.
Case number 2, and it's called Marcausi. I hope I said that right. And it is from Peru. Now, Marcausi is obviously blatantly known for its natural occurring rock formations resembling faces, animals, and symbols. Now, the interesting thing is, Dr. You have to some of these names I'm going to butcher, so this is horrible. I hate the story already. Dr. Sentiao, I hope I said that right. It was a medical physician. Now, he treated a patient who claimed to have visited this actual area. But now, unfortunately, as he visited this area, something happened where he was left, quote unquote, half paralyzed. So let me explain what I said. That happened there. Now, the patient had no. I cannot read my own writing today. What's up with me? The patient had no trauma injuries and had a condition which deemed unusual and unknown. So, after all this incident happened, he went through literally so many tests. I mean, literally. And we're talking not just like random tests, we're talking the top, tests and stuff. Now, the rumor has it that this patient, who's yet to be named, encountered people from the quote unquote dressed in 17th century. So this is obviously in the 1980s, I think it was.
Oh, you see people from the 17th century.
Yep. So, and apparently they was doing some sort of weird. I think it was. he used the term like ritual and stuff like that, like dancing and stuff. Now, as he obviously went to, I think, like in a house, and obviously he's gone to the house, and for some bizarre reason, he's decided to go see what's going off. Do you know?
Yeah.
I think any person would. I think I would. Do you know, and stuff like that. Now, as he's done this, he's experienced what's known as partial paralysis. So for some bizarre reason, whatever's gone off there, they've like shook him a little bit. It's really, really weird.
So his traveling back to the present caused him to have paralysis.
That's correct. And like I said, obviously after this incident, he went through, it was described as extensive tests, you know, trying to find out what the problem was. But unfortunately, nobody could actually work out, do you know, what the actual thing was.
And did he ever gain it back?
It still remains a mystery if he did get it back.
Wow.
So the thing is, it's like, what the hell? Do you know? One thing I thought about when I'm obviously doing the notes for this is like, it's just that actual motion of going like that. Do you know, like just being nosy? Do you know what I mean? What could have happened if he didn't do that?
So it's just this looking like this.
Into a window.
Well, he was like looking like this. Just like glanced at one side.
But yeah, I mean, what's your thoughts about it was basically unknown what actually caused it?
Possibly, this is my theory, is that the time travel was so great that it just messed with the system so badly that it made it inoperational in certain parts.
See, the thing is, the first thing I thought about was like old school, like voodooism and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, you said those people in the 70s, they did a ritual on him?
Yes, they were like, that's the theory was, it's like some sort of ritual, do you know? It's really weird.
Well, you need someone to uncurse you then. You don't need a doctor. He needs to see Liam and Aaron and we'll fix him up.
There you go. I'll see you in the light one. He'll suit him out.
Oh, yeah. He'll eat your face too, but you don't know which version you'll get.
On my kneecaps.
Yeah. You know, yeah, he's very like in between good and evil. You don't know what you're going to get.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And yeah, that's obviously my case. And I do believe you've got another case yourself.
Yes. So do you know who Carl Jung is?
It rings a bell.
So he is the successor to Sigmund Freud.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So Sigmund Freud considered Jung his peer, even calling him my eldest son, and deeming him his heir to the psychoanalytic process. Jung thought of Freud as extremely intelligent, shrewd, and altogether remarkable. So it was pretty much his mentor.
Yep.
So Jung was a Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst known for his theory of synchronicity.
Yep.
And I'm not going to get into the theory of synchronicity because it's too complex for us to really explain in a summary of his time shift. So in the 1930s, him and a female acquaintance visited the ancient town of Ravenna, Italy.
Okay.
Now, when you go to one of these towns, you're going to visit all the ancient things where the Romans were, right?
Yep.
You're going to check out one of the places that they checked out, written in his book, Dreams and Reflections. Jung describes how he had fallen into a strange mood when he visited the tomb of, I want to say the name is Gala Placidia. And so she was the daughter of the Roman emperor. So the funny thing is, 2 decades earlier, Carl Jung was in that tomb 2 decades, like 20 years before.
Wow.
and he had the exact same mood. So he writes this down in his journal. I'm like, pretty much, I'm having that mood again. So they go, him and his female acquaintance, they now go into it's called the Baptistry of Neon. Now, the Baptistry of Neon is the oldest building in the city, and it's like a religious building.
Mm-hmm.
So they go in there, both of them, and when they do, this mysterious blue light is everywhere.
Okay.
And it's filling the room. And Carl Jung and his companion, they notice that the windows are covered in this beautiful mosaic.
Mm-hmm.
This mosaic religious art.
Okay.
And he is just blown away by how beautiful this art is. He would later say that if he closes his eyes, he can see the details so vividly.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's incredible. He is very busy on this trip to Italy, and he doesn't have time to get some pictures of those mosaics.
Mm-hmm.
So he later on gets one of his assistants to buy some pictures of those mosaics. He finds out that those mosaics do not exist.
What?
Yeah. He's like, they exist. I saw them. And his female companion's like, yes, I saw them. They're both saying they saw them. So Carl Jung has a theory.
Okay.
That when he was in the tomb of what's her name, Gallia Placida, Gallia Placida, he feels like he merged some sort of brainwaves with her, some sort of psychological thing with her.
I mean, is that a possibility?
So what's interesting about that is like his companion did not feel anything.
Mm-hmm.
So she also saw the blue light and also saw the mosaics and the beautiful art. Like she had the same experience, minus the moods. And she is certain that she saw those things. So this is believed that they traveled to another time and were exposed to what the baptistry looked at the time.
That is weird. That is the weirdest one we've done at the moment. What the hell?
So yeah. So yeah, it's just one of those things that someone, especially someone when it kind of hits us more when it's someone well known like that, right?
Yeah, I think that's what makes this story a bit more, impactful, because, like I said, it's somebody well known
and he's credible.
There you go. I mean,
like he's in books everywhere.
For some reason, that story you've just done there, I can't get my head around that one.
Yeah, and the art, like to this dying day,
mm-hmm.
If he closed his eyes, he could see it like it was there.
Yeah.
Like it just stuck out so much to him. Like he could touch it in his brain.
That is, and that's this. What case is that one again? Sorry, as well.
This is case 3.
Case 3. I'm gonna have to look more into that one because that one's really, really creepy. I will be honest.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Any more thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't. It's puzzling. I will be honest. It's absolutely puzzling me, that one.
So did he travel back to another time, or did she just reveal something of that blue light? Has said something special to do with that, right?
But yeah, and here's the question though: what is that blue light?
You know what? There was yellow in the other one, in the first one.
Yeah, so we've got yellow, then we've got blue.
Interesting.
Could be. I mean, are we thinking? We're not thinking aliens, right? Are we?
Oh, not at all. I just think that something to do with colors. So if you're gonna try and travel, remember to bring your Crayola crayons with you.
There you go. Right, and so we've got one more story case, and this is case 4, and it's Charlotte Mobley and Eleanor Jardine. So this is from the 1901. Now, Mobley and Jordan decide to visit a palace of versatilities in Paris. So have you noticed we're kind of traveling around the world a little bit?
Yeah, I like it.
Now, during this time, obviously they went to investigate these actual palaces, stuff like that. They like to sightsee and stuff like that. Now, apparently, they encountered what was described as strange individuals. So the first ones, obviously, apparently were dressed into old Victorian fashion with. Do you remember these triangle hats, as we call them?
Yeah.
Yep. So apparently these were one of the hats they actually wore, and visited what was known as let's read my notes again, a circular kiosk. Now, apparently, later this was discovered that these were described as the Temple d'Arma in the gardens of Petit Trinian. So this is what apparently these guys were kind of, connected to.
Yeah.
So this is kind of really, really strange. But now, I'm just really thinking. Now, also during this time as well, there wasn't just these people they actually interacted with. Now, they also interacted with people dressed in what was described as period clothing, and apparently, this is all we've got on this, is an unnatural and an unpleasant atmosphere. So they've met 2 sets of people. One's obviously like the good side, and then one's kind of like the bad side. This is what I got from this. If that makes sense.
So they've seen 2 sets of different people while on their trip to the past.
Mm-hmm. So one being like good side, which is obviously like Victorian stuff, and then there was no like what they looked like, but apparently it was they got an unnatural and unpleasant atmosphere. It's kind of like good and evil. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, as the same story, obviously you did it before. They went back. Obviously, they spoke to a lot of people, and a lot of people started to obviously, question the integrity of the story, which it seems to be a common thing when you're trying to prove something. People kind of like doubt you. Does that make sense?
Well, how do you prove something like that? Like, for example, Carl Jung, his story is only credible because he's Carl Jung.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And the military guy's only credible because it actually was like his legacy as someone in the military and how high up he was. It was only credible because it actually happened.
Exactly. So the only theory they obviously thought they could do was visit the area again. Now, apparently, upon revisiting this location, they found what was described as many discrepancies and realized the garden now was completely different to when they first went there. So it's not like the same garden, it's literally completely different. And it's more, if we say modern, like, like their time frame, that'll probably describe it better.
So they experienced only the past originally of what it looked like back then. And when they came back and they wanted to revisit it, it seemed even stranger to them.
Now, do you notice that it reminded me like a thing where it's like you can't revisit the past? It's kind of like a there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a short story, but what do you think to that one? That's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to travel to the Victorian or the medieval times. Like those are bad times. I don't want to live there. Furthest I want to go is maybe the 80s. That's as far as I want to go.
Yeah, and
because at least I get video games in the 80s, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, video games is the way forward every single time.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, when it's like when the only theory they had was to revisit, which I think in anybody's thing, that's what they'll do is revisit the area. But everything was completely different. It was more modern. It was like it didn't exist.
Well, it also helps them understand what they were through as well, because you're like seeing all these things that like this isn't right. So what they've seen wasn't right, but they're because that's their first-hand account, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is, do you know, covering obviously, also we'll get onto theories now. Is do you think listening to these stories, it's like these people who witness it, they're kind of like questioning themselves a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. You question yourself. You question your sanity. But here's the thing. Did they actually travel back in time? Or were they caught in some sort of recording?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot there. I think the one with the plane going through the weather thing, I do think that's going back in time. I really do.
No, that's it forward in time.
Oh, yes. Crap, yeah.
So that one doesn't even apply to that.
Do you know what? I don't know. I mean, that is absolutely...
Like, I think of the Carl Jung one, and I think, could that blue light be recording what happened and showing them something?
Like a hologram type thing?
In a way, I guess. It's a hologram for your brain. Because they both saw it.
Yeah, I mean, but...
Like, so much so that they wanted to buy the pictures. They thought that, I don't know what this blue light is, but I want these pictures.
So is it is it going back in time, or is it actually time skipping as we discuss it?
Yeah, like the time slip is you being in another time when you live here. So it's hard to say. Like we never, like when we do these theories, we never come to any conclusions. We're just like we ask him more questions and we end up more confused in the end mostly.
Do you think this is one where it's like we could debate it so much and we still probably won't get to the answer?
Yeah, it's like I hope to find more of these so we can maybe do another Time Keeps on Slipping. Time Keeps on Slipping 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to do these because this has been a really interesting episode.
Yeah, and I'm fascinated by these time slips. Like, they're unlike anything in the paranormal world.
Yeah, the one thing I obviously like is the mind. Like, I've always been a big fan of Joe, like the power of the mind and stuff. So that would be an interesting one to cover. But yeah, time is really... This has been probably the most interesting episodes ever because now I'm going, okay, now I'm questioning myself.
You don't know he's going to go through a time slip.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I cannot think of any theories because it's like we'll probably go down a rabbit hole with answering more questions.
Instead, you want to do what's it called? Knowledge is power?
Let's do it. Knowledge is power. So here's the thing, right? Yeah, how are we supposed to entertain kids when we can't even entertain what we think?
Children, come close. I want to talk to you about something. You've reached the age now where you're going to be tempted with a lot of things. But I just want you to know that if you get your pilot's license, you don't want to do those loops in those planes. Because sometimes those loops are going to lead you into a storm. And you're going to wind up in the future.
Yep.
And if you are in the future, you can maybe date your mom or something. It's going to mess things up. Or, maybe date your daughter or something. You don't want to do that. That's going to mess everything up. So, kids, be careful with your airplanes.
That's brilliant. I love the fact they intertwine that. So, kids, right? Yeah, it's my turn now. So, come on. Now, if you're out and about, right, and you see a guy who's got sounds like he's had a sore throat for like 3 years and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Sometimes you might think that guy's really nice. It can be, do you know what I mean? But just is one of those, right, where you never know what time frame he's come from. It could come from the 2000s, could come from the future. Who knows? But be very. I'm not saying like run away from him, because no, don't run away from the Elijah one, because that's really, really nasty.
He might chase you if you run away from him.
There you go. But if you see the enlightened one, do you know what I mean? And interact with him. Do you know what I mean? Have a nice, ask him how he is, ask him how his days. You never know. You might make a new best friend.
I didn't know this that the sore throat thing. I had no clue.
Yeah, apparently 3 years, and he's been literally on lemon. I'm like, what the hell?
He eats lemon drops, like 600 a day. Did you know? I asked him where he's from. He just says, "I'm from away."
Yeah.
I don't know where away is.
You're gonna pop back up before the show's finished.
We'll have to. I want to hear what you guys have to talk about.
That's going to be interesting. Yeah, I mean, we should definitely see, but
knowledge is power.
Wow. Knowledge is power. Do you think kids actually learned something from this show?
Oh, for sure. Like, I think that if you don't learn from something, you have some issues, and you need to maybe talk to Carl Jung. Sit on the couch for a bit.
Yeah, just sit there and just talk about absolutely everything. So this is really weird, because obviously it's Thursday as well. We obviously used to doing the show Friday.
It's a time slip for us, even into the past.
No, I tell you what, is a time slip when the clocks go forward now, and then it turns out.
Oh, yeah, that's your time slip. And we're like, I thought, did the clocks go forward again because you were so late that you were just actually resting?
Oh dear, but no, this has been a really, really fun episode. So what's coming up for the rest of the week?
We on Saturday we have the takeover of the Effing Expert. We're gonna find out. It's a mystery what he's gonna talk about. We have no clue.
Exactly, and obviously I usually do the show Saturday as well, but obviously I'm away on one PW business. But yeah, I mean, I wish I could give you some like insight, but even I don't know. I've just
and I still need to talk to JB. We still don't know what we're doing for Sunday, so we always come up with something. We always have a fun time. So
do you not plan ahead
watch
like me?
It on Sunday? The All Effing Wrestling Show.
Well, you said wrestling with the paranormal together.
Oh, I was stuck in a time slip.
Dear. Yeah. Should we do the outro?
Of course, you can find us at effingwrestling.com. You can join our Prediction League, AFW. But if you want to support us, we are going to add a special little membership bar here to YouTube, and you can become a member of our channel and support us financially. Isn't that awesome?
Ooh, that is absolutely awesome.
So people are going to be able to become members, and we'll add it to the thing. But in the meantime, why don't you buy yourself a shirt like this one here? You can head on over to Whoa! What are you doing to me? You can head on over to Pro Wrestling Tees /Effing Wrestling. Of course, that beautiful shirt by beautiful Natalia Markova. And then, of course, if you like old school wrestling, and we know you do, you can head on over to Pro Wrestling Tees /Adrian Adonis.
Yes. Who's, of course, going to be on Dark Side of the Ring.
Yes, can't wait for that. And so we're also going to talk about Dark Side of the Ring on every episode of Dynamite After Dark. Just to keep up, and we got another episode coming this week, so we'll kind of talk about that on Dynamite After Dark. And do you got anything else you want to say?
No, I mean, I think you've pretty much covered all the bases. Is there absolutely spot on? I mean,
I guess I just want to say like and subscribe, and look in the description below for all our info.
The one thing I've always forgot to mention is, like, if you guys don't want to see our ugly faces, you can actually head to Spotify, because these shows are on Spotify, so you can listen to it on your phone, in the car, Even like late in bed. I mean, it could be ASMR if you want.
Yeah, so hopefully Liam remembers to add the Spotify link a little later.
Yes, I will.
All right. That's it for us. Remember to just keep fighting.
What are you drinking?
Nothing.
I saw the bottle. Come on. What
There
was
was
it?
no bottle. It was a time slip.
What is it? Is it like out of date but pop or something?
1987. It's not bad.
That is really, really bad. No wonder
I drank 2 liters of this stuff.
No wonder you've got sore throat.
Oh no, that's not good. That's not good at all.
No, it's not. So while we've got a bit of time, so obviously Canada Dry's asked you this question as well, but I'm going to ask you as well. Where are you actually from exactly?
I'm from away.
Can you elaborate on that?
Pardon me?
Can you elaborate on that one?
Okay, you know where the McDonald's is on Route 77?
No.
Oh. You know the Burger